So good evening, everyone. My name is Reena Sethi, and today I will kind of introduce the data storytelling topic to you. A little bit about myself. I'm the Director of Product Management at SAP Labs India, and I lead the product management for mobile as part of analytics team at SAP. I've been with SAP for the last 10 years, with a total of 19 years of industry experience, with a BTech from NIT Rourkela and a management degree from IIM Kozhikode. With that said, we'll start with the problem statement and what we expect from you with a guideline on evaluation. I think you've seen a couple of topics in this structure already. So we'll wrap it up with some Q&A. So we've all kind of grew up listening to stories from our grandparents, right? Did we ever imagine that storytelling would play such an important role in our lives? Maybe not. In the context of business, in the context of analytics, it is being able to use the natural language techniques to be able to derive or put forward intelligence in a way that is understandable by the business users. Right? It is not just telling a story, being able to actually analyze the data in an automatic fashion and being able to explain those insights that you're deriving from the data in the language that the business user can understand. And why is it so important? What we are seeing in the analytics space is that there is a clear shift of paradigm happening from IT-led business intelligence to machine-led business intelligence, right? What I mean by that is earlier, let's say a few years back, more and more focus was on the IT person who was actually looking at the data, setting up the data, analyzing the data, and creating those insights from the data or information from the data and sharing it out to the end user or business users. That is completely changing now, where more and more the actual end user, the business user, is connecting to data, trying to derive insights so they can take decisions faster and be more effective and efficient in their work life, right? To give example, let's say of a business user is somebody like an HR manager or a brand manager or a salesperson. In fact, any employee in the organization is an end user or a business user who can use data to their advantage. And you don't really expect all the end users to be tech savvy, right? At the same time, what they can do with the data is really powerful. If the data or the insights they're able to derive in a way that is understandable. And that is where there's also a shift happening from doing just visual data analysis or data discovery to an augmented area, which is using machine learning algorithm behind the scene to be able to actually augment analytics with these intelligence or predictive insights into the output, right? And this is according to Gartner, which is one of the analysts. It is one of the really growing space where most of the business tools are now moving towards the way of putting insights in a seamless manner, right? Now, what are the different areas to focus here? There are many different things that you could think through, which is using machine learning algorithms to be able to actually analyze the data, to be able to find relationship between the data patterns. Is there any hidden trend? What you can really tell the user, which is not evident by just creating certain visualizations and looking at the data. If you also see the kind of tools that are available today, the kind of output that they produce versus what the business user can really understand and interpret it, there is a gap between that. So what we are looking for is an ability to be able to use these kind of, let's say, algorithms or techniques to automate deriving insights from data. And also using that, let's say, output and putting it forward using the NLP and such techniques to be able to share those insights in a language which is very easily understandable by the business user. There's also another area that you could focus, which is how can you contextualize that output to what the user is doing or maybe interested in, right? Let's say user is coming from a retail industry or a manufacturing industry with different roles, right? The kind of questions that they would have from the data would be a little different. And the kind of insights that can really help them would be different. To give an example, an HR manager probably would be interested to do a churn analysis, whereas a sales manager would be more interested in how he can increase the profitability of certain brands, right? So how you can take some of these contextual information also as part of an input and use machine learning algorithms to be able to connect this context with the analysis or let's say finding relationship in the data, any hidden pattern, and creating that output in a way which is presentable, not just with visualization, but also a combination of natural language text and visualizations, which is auto-created from data, right? So I'll give an example as well so that you can understand better what are the possibilities. This is not to say that you do it in this way, but this is just to give you an idea about what are the possibilities that you can think of. In the context of SAP Analytics Cloud, which is an analytics tool, what we are doing is when you, let's say, connect SAC to a set of data, to a data set, what it does is using some proprietary algorithms, it is going through the data, analyzing that, and creating different dimension of output, right? For example, in this case, it's creating these 4 different dimensions, which is first is telling you about how the data is distributed, right? The summary of trends, any patterns detected from the data. And then the next set of information is about what is the key influencer, right? Is there any, let's say you are analyzing your sales data and the key influencer would tell you that maybe the sales data is more influenced by a salesperson or a region, for instance, right? To be able to provide such output. There's also unexpected value or outlier, right? Are there any outliers in the data? Then the user knows that they probably should not keep that in their analysis. And then being able to analyze it in such a way that you simulate what if situations, right? What if I, let's say, change some data? How does it impact my output? So it today creates these 4 types of output, and within few, I would say few seconds, just taking that large amount of data and creating these output in a way which is understandable by the user. Just imagine if this was not there, what you would have done, right? You would have spent a lot of time to first understand the data and then maybe build a dashboard or a report with certain analysis. You may end up spending a lot of time in even designing that dashboard. Whereas here, within a few, let's say seconds to minutes, you have a complete output, which a business user or an end user can make use of to understand the underlying data and use it in their job, right? So that is something what I would say in those lines we're expecting. So now I would actually hand it over to my colleague to tell you what we are expecting from you. So maybe Srini, if you can speak a few line about what we're expecting in terms of output.
Sure. You have seen the examples, possible screenshots that Reena had shown earlier in SAC. SAC is short form for SAP Analytics Cloud product. Something like that could have been generated using your program, and that tool, AI-based tool, should be able to be fed a data set. You can get sample data sets from any popular data processing statistics sites. You can see Kaggle or other competition sites for that kind of data, but given a snapshot of data, the system should be able to identify the hidden patterns. For example, you have, let's say, the COVID data, or let's say that cancer and correlations data. Then you should be able to output something like, okay, this demographics, this attribute has a direct relationship or a very strong correlation with so and so dimension. Okay, and it should be able to identify measures and dimensions, segregate them. And once that segregation is done, it should be able to see correlations between measures and dimensions and remove redundant correlations such as dependent dimensions and so on. So all this manual normal work that most data scientists do on a day-to-day basis should have been automated already by now, and it should be able to come up with the top 4 crucial or most statistically significant observations from the data. So like the example Reena has shown, you should be able to plot a graph with 1 or 2 measures or separate graphs for different measures based on the most statistically significant dimension attribute, something like that. So that normally takes a human being several hours to days of manual labor and thinking and mechanically doing several plots that should have been already automated. That is one. And okay, so that is for automatic insight and infer patterns and so on. Now, an example, Reena also has shown NLP, NLQ, and NLG. NLG is the most interesting part because using the data deep insights, you could output a question like this. You could output an observation like this. Did you know that in so-and-so demographics during this decade, the average rate of the incidence of so-and-so disease dropped by 0.7%, and it is immediately correlated by the fact that they have started using unleaded petrol, something like that. So that so to formulate a sentence like that means that your algorithm is very good in NLG. Okay, otherwise it sounds and looks like a very robotic message. So that is the beauty of it. It should have a very deep insight into the different correlations between measures and dimensions and be able to order them in a meaningful, useful way for a human being. And the observations must also be of value to a business user, because business user is not going to be totally excited about seeing, did you know that this is a significant correlation, but it's only 0.93. The rest of something like that doesn't make any sense to business user. So your observation, your output, plots, and natural language generation statements that you would output should also be of value to business user. Something like, did you know that the sales went up by 1.7% during COVID-19, although the overall sales went down by 0.2%? And why do you think so? And maybe you could provide a link and you click on it, it will immediately take you down to the very interesting drill down feature, something like that. Okay. And the output should be interactive. The beauty about interactive is humans, we all would like to see a big picture and then dig down deeper. So that's something like a drill down. So the output should be interactive and should be directed if desired. So the automatic automatic trend recognition super algorithm that you built will generate some output. But if you want to learn more about it, you should be able to navigate and also influence the way output is generated. So that is the interactive part. And finally, it should be personalized. So although many algorithms are supposedly doing a lot of automation and intuitiveness, but over a period of time that gets very tiring and gets very repetitive, robotic. So it loses that appeal. So already many good successful companies, products, consumer products rely on a good level of personalization. So that is, it kind of tracks where the user is spending his or her time on, what features and what features are appealing, what features are more interacted with, where did you drill down deep. Probably you use certain charts more, probably you used certain trends more than other trends. So this personalized tracking should be incorporated into your automation data process that will take the individual choices and preferences into account. And so that is the appeal. Okay, so that is the personalization, and this profile should also be able to be stored and exported and even influenced by the user. So that's the personalization part. Reena, back to you.
Okay. Yeah, I think mostly they're familiar with the evaluation criteria because in the first two topics it was covered, but I'll just quickly go over it in case a few of you would have joined afterwards. The goal is a lot of it is on the technology that is being used, how the quality of the code, the authenticity, right? How you have designed so that it can be easily scalable to handle large volume of data, right? Because nowadays, if you are not talking about terabytes of data, really probably not looking at the right data set, right? So it should be able to scale to large volume of data. That should be usable in terms of the functionality that has been developed. There is also a focus on how easily it can be, let's say, implemented in other solutions, right? So there'll be a lot of focus on all these different areas. I'm not going to kind of go into each of these line items. Maybe we can, I think, take questions and address that now. So probably let me kind of stop sharing and we can look at the chat box, or if anybody wants to ask a question, they could do so.
Yeah, Reena, thank you so much, Reena. Thank you so much, Srinivas. There is one question that has come up. It is by Nikhil. And Nikhil wants to understand, will we be given some context along with data set or just the data set? Because generating context from data set can be very challenging.
I can take that question.
Please.
Yeah, so there is already, I think, a sample data set that's given. So, as I mentioned, there are different areas of focus in this challenge, right? You could focus on being able to create that automatic insight. The good thing could be, or a differentiator could be to actually also build in that personalization and contextualization into it. But that's not a must, right? It's probably a good to have. So you can maybe focus on being able to generate those insights in a natural language, being able to share that output and focus on that specifically, and may not necessarily be on the contextualization of the output.
Nikhil, there is also some context that you can infer from the data types, such as, take, for example, I'll give you an example of what Excel or Google Docs does. If you type a string that looks like a date, Excel will immediately recognize that you're trying to input a date, and it will format it nicely. And there are some algorithms and using external data sets that will correct even name errors. Suppose I mistype a name, Nikhil, and I miss one character in the spelling, it will identify that it's a proper noun and it will fix that error. So that is possible. So some context is already derivable from the data types and the data formats. So you also have some help in that.
Thanks. Yes, I understood that, but like the question was basically getting the mood from the data set. So that is challenging, right? You told about the energy, right, and how should we frame the output? Suppose the data set is related to deaths somewhere, right? So we need to give output in a way which is not very exciting, correct? So that's what, like, getting the mood is challenging. But yeah, I get it. I understood what your point was.
I think you got a good point there, that if you have a lot of credit data, and whether an example of a context could be from the point of view of a banker or from the point of view of a consumer. So in that sense, the analogy will be totally different. If it's a consumer, you would output something like, hey, you know that you can get this loan even if your credit score is low. Or if it's from the point of view of a banker, you could say, hey, the number of consumers in the high income bracket have jumped up this month. Do you know why? Something like that. So I totally understand your question, but it's okay. It's totally okay if you if you make a choice of one context over the other. That's totally fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srinivas and Reena. Currently, I do not see any further questions in the chat. I would request participants, if they have any queries, to send us their questions across in the chat. Anything at all could be fine. And also, in case it feels like right now you do not have questions in mind, but at a later point you come across queries that you want to address to the gathering here, you can always post your query on the discussion forum of the hackathon page itself, or you can post your question in the Slack channel that is created for this hackathon also. Okay, it looks like participants have a fairly good understanding for this one. Thank you so much, Reena and Srinivas. Great presentation. Okay, Aryaman has asked us, can we take any data set?
Yeah, I think that should be fine. We have given an example. It's up to you if you want to take up a different one as well. But when you're kind of let's say developing this tool, don't make it too much tied into the data. In the sense, it should be flexible enough to be able to analyze different types of data, right? So you can take a different data set, but don't develop something which is very much tied to a particular type of data.
Yeah, keep in mind that Reena said that the data and the context prediction should be useful to a business user. So don't take something like gene sequencing data or something. Something of business user value.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ariman has also added to the previous question. There are already 2 data sets provided for this problem. Is it possible for us to only take that?
Yeah, I mean, as we said, it's okay if you want to use that as well. So we don't have any, preference per se when it comes to choosing a data set. But yes, you can take it as an example as well.
Thank you so much, Reena. With this, we come to the end of the webinar today. We have a follow-up webinar tomorrow as well. Today, we covered 3 problem statements. Tomorrow, also, we're going to go ahead and cover 4 more problem statements that we have in line. Please join us again tomorrow in case you want clarity on the other 4 problem statements that we have. Tomorrow's webinar also starts at the same time, 6 p.m. and the flow would be similar to today. So in case you want to join for a particular webinar, you can look at the microsite, the hackathon page, for the exact timing of your webinar, your problem statement, and you can join at that point in time as well. In case you are not sure of which problem statement you want to go ahead with, you can go ahead and attend all the problem statement webinars. Right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Again, in case of any queries, don't feel shy to reach out to us, and we'll make sure your query is rectified as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
that.
everybody. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
bye.
you, Reena. Thank you, Srinivas.